Hey everyone, welcome to the podcast this week. I am speaking to well-known country drummer Fred Eltringham. Fred and I go way back to the 90s here in LA when he was living here in LA. Fred has become one of the top call country recording drummers. He's been playing with Cheryl Crow for the last 13 years. He has recorded with not only Cheryl Crow, but Willie Nelson, Laney Williams, Billy Prince Bonnie, Katie Lang, Ben Queller, Casey Musgraves, Dixie Chicks, Miranda Lambert. List goes on. Fred is an incredible drummer. He taught me a lot without even knowing it, which we talk about in the podcast. Yeah, he's just a super chill dude, and he's got an incredible feel. Just really knows what he's doing as a song drummer and a recording drummer. As you may know by now, I have a coaching program for home recording drummers. If you are a drummer that struggles with a room sound because you're in a bedroom or a crappy garage or something, this may be for you. If you can't capture the sounds that you hear in your head, the drum sounds that you hear in your head, this program may be for you. If you can't recreate sounds from references that you get from clients, this program may be for you. If you're sending unmixed drum stems to clients, this program may be for you. And if you have a workflow that keeps you from making a good hourly rate from what you're getting paid, this program may be for you. You can go to blairsinta.com. There's a video there that you can learn more about the program. And if it seems like it's something that you might be interested in, you can schedule a free call with me and we will talk through it. Otherwise, enjoy Fred Eltringham. Awesome dude. I have a good story for you. Ready?
Uh-oh. I'm ready.
No, it's a good story. In, I think it was 2000, we were both playing on the same record, this guy Kirk Wheeler, and Evan Frankfurt was producing or recording, maybe both.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I remember that at his house.
You remember that?
Yep. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And so I went over to record my parts, and I've told this story a lot, which is why I'm telling you. I went over to record my parts, and everyone was like, hey, you want to hear what Fred did? And I was like, yeah, of course. So he played it for me, and I was like, yeah, cool, Yeah. And I did mine. And then a few months later, the record came out, and I listened to your tracks, and I listened to my tracks, and I was like, oh. Fred.
No.
I learned, no, seriously, I was like, oh, shit. Like it was like tones, musical fills, feel, you know what I mean? And when I initially listened to it, I was like, yeah, that's good. You know what I mean? But it wasn't, I think they weren't fully fleshed out songs, but when the songs, I was like, oh shit. I learned so much from that. It was crazy. I just remember listening to it going, okay, dude. Right. You know?
Oh, that's very sweet.
Yeah. I've told that story
that's
to
nice.
Like a lot of people before, so yeah.
that's very nice to hear, because I tend to feel like I don't know what I'm doing a lot of the time. and it took me a long time to be able to like listen to stuff that I played on and not be overly critical, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Still it's hard, but yeah, well, that's very sweet. Thanks, Blair.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
I mean, it's true. I am blowing smoke, but it is true.
Well,
yeah. So
it's funny, you know. I never really set out to be a session guy. Even it just kind of like fell into place. Like, especially when I moved here. Like in LA, I was not at all. I was not in that realm of people that were doing it there. And you know, always played on records and stuff, and always recorded forever since I was a little kid with my family or, you know, friends' bands or whatever, you know. And but it wasn't until I got here that I kind of got thrown into the session world and really learned about what it was, and I never expected it. It's weird. I never like was like, I never really was like pursuing that, you know. It was like, I'm going to be a session guy. It just kind of sort of happened.
Why do you think it was less connected to you here and more in Nashville?
I'm not sure about that. But I didn't, maybe because I didn't really know a ton of people there. Um,
Really?
just like, I mean, yeah, and in the record making world, I didn't, especially the first time I lived there. Like, I didn't know anybody first time I lived there.
What do you came and left?
Yeah, I came there in 2000 and stayed for 2 years. And then remember, you actually the first like tour that I got out of LA was because of you with Jude.
Oh my God, I forgot that.
Yeah. That was the very first like, LA gig that I got.
Dude, I totally forgot that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Right.
Which was incredible actually because that was the first time I ever did like I did Conan. We did Conan on that
Yeah.
run.
Okay.
So it was my first like TV thing and uh yeah, crazy.
Oh, okay. In my head, the whole timeline is way off.
Yeah, I was only there for like 2 years
Okay.
and did not have a ton of stuff happening. I
Uh,
started doing stuff with Charlton Pettis, who was working with Kurt Smith from Tears for Fears,
okay.
and that whole thing started around then. But
Okay.
um, the no, Ben Queller called me
Okay.
in 2002 and was like, "Hey, do you want to go do this tour with me? My drummer just quit," and I was like, "Okay, yeah." So, and we were really struggling in LA,
Hmm.
and we were like, "Let's go live in New York
Okay.
and
Okay.
get out of here and
Okay.
reset."
And then you came back.
Then I came back. When I was like 2 years into playing with Ben,
Okay.
and the Wallflowers called me to
Right.
do that gig. And
Okay.
we were like, and Melissa got pregnant, and it was like, okay, well, I guess we go back to LA now because we didn't want to.
Man.
It seemed like it was going to be hard to have a baby in New York and to have to be in the Wallflowers from across the country. It seemed
Right.
kind of like wasn't going to work out too well.
Right.
But yeah,
See, in my head, God, it's so strange. In my head, you came here in like 97 or 98 with the Jiggle
Hmm.
Ads.
I mean, I toured through there all. I mean, we were touring all through the '90s.
Yeah.
I joined the Gigolo Ants in '94. We
Yeah.
did spend a ton of time there because Adam Duritz had signed the band.
Maybe
So
that's
we were,
part of what it is. Because you guys
yeah,
would play the Troubadour and stuff.
yeah, we would play anywhere we could.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we would spend a lot of time at his house and stuff, just like hanging
Right.
out there, trying to
Okay.
get things
Okay. So I'm
happening.
not totally crazy. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Interesting.
yeah, I know, pretty wild.
And
But
then why did you decide to head to Nashville after that?
well, the Wallflowers gig, like we made a record, uh, and we made a record with Brendan O'Brien,
Hmm.
and great record called Rebel Sweetheart, and we started touring on it. And Jimmy Iovine was like, I think even before the record was out, he was like, "This record's dead," and so we only toured for a little while. And Jake was kind of the disillusion. He was just like, what are we doing?" And he called like a hiatus,
Hmm.
and I had two little babies, and I was like, "Oh, okay, great. This is not good." So I had to find a gig,
Okay.
and and heard from Michael Bland about the Dixie Chicks
Okay.
gig, and just went after that kind of, and went and talked to them and got that gig. So that's when I first met people from Nashville,
Okay.
like
So
through that.
that was really your into recording, like meeting people because of that I mean, that was really high profile. Still is, but especially then, it was like,
Well, I think maybe it didn't hurt, but I mean the recording stuff. Like when I moved here, I was playing with Michelle Branch's country band
oh, okay.
called the Wreckers.
Yep.
I was still in the Wallflowers. We were still a band and doing things here and there, but I was still playing with the Dixie Chicks, and they had a little side band called the Courtyard Hounds, and we were touring on that. And yeah, then I started doing Michelle's thing, and Michelle's whole band was based out here. Like the Chicks band was only like three people from Nashville,
Okay.
and we like rehearsed in Austin and rehearsed in LA and stuff. It was more kind of spread out. But the Wreckers was super Nashville centric, and so um, the keyboard player in that band, Mike Webb, he was the one who like introduced me to this producer here named Frank Liddell and his engineer Mike Rucky. And Frank was doing like Miranda Lambert records and stuff, and these big artists, and he just started calling me to come play on things and to he has a publishing company called Carnival, and I just started doing tons of demos with them, and it just kind of spread out through there.
Mhm.
And yeah, pretty wild.
Yeah. And it just like snowballed from that stuff, kind of.
Yeah, it's just kind of, well, I wouldn't say it's snowballed. It's just kind of been a steady arc, it's just been a steady thing. It's not like um it's not like a huge peak or any kind of anything where
Yeah.
stuff, it just kind of keeps going. And Nashville has just a great community where you can just kind of keep doing it for a long time, and it's like full band tracking sessions most of the time, and
Yep.
that's still a big thing here. And yeah, it's a great scene. So many incredible musicians, and a lot of people have moved here from all over
Yeah.
over the past bunch of years,
Yeah.
which is awesome. That's great.
It's amazing. There's still a lot of full band tracking because I really miss that because that stopped, basically stopped a really long time ago,
Yeah,
for me. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Pretty rare. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, there is a lot of guys doing tracks from home and stuff, and I do a bunch of it, but not like a ton. Majority of my stuff is in the studio with bands
Yeah.
in person.
So when did you decide to like get a home thing going?
Well, I did it right away, actually. I
Okay.
did it like as soon like I had a little setup here forever. And I mean, I guess I don't know what year it was, but I got the Apollo and started getting mics and um, getting more serious about that kind of thing.
Hmm.
And probably the busiest time for that was COVID, obviously, because people start, wanting more tracks. But actually, the tracking, like in-person tracking, started up really quick during COVID again.
I think I remember
Yeah,
talking to Jerry Rowe and
yeah, we were like slammed.
yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
So by June, everyone was like working nonstop that year, which was really awesome for us. It's like
Yeah.
super helpful to get through because we weren't touring or anything. And I had the Sheryl. I've been playing with Sheryl for 13 years now. So
That long?
yeah,
Wow. Okay.
yeah. But she kept us kind of doing stuff during that too, doing home the little videos that people were doing and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Right. Okay.
But yeah. So I think during COVID, I really started getting my engineering skills and stuff together. It's yeah, I'm enjoying it more now. Like there was a time where I was like, I didn't really love doing the home tracking by myself that
Because
much. It's so much. I just felt like it was a lot more. It's so much more work for us, especially for drums and everything. Because you're just doing everything. You're the producer, you're the engineer, you're the musician, you're just guessing, kind of like what. Okay, I guess this is gonna be good. This is what they want, I think.
I'm picking this kick pattern. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna do the. Yeah, there's no bass. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like an acoustic and a vocal, and you're like, I could see it going this way. And you just kind of hope for the best,
Hmm.
and send them a track, and you know, most of the time it works out. They go like, "Oh yeah, that's awesome. Let's just go with that."
Hmm.
But it can get a little tricky. Going the communication part of it can be. I don't have the audio movers thing all set up and all that. So
Do you feel like
uh,
it came, maybe that part of it came together for you more quickly? Well, it's separate from the engineering, just like the idea of being able to make decisions because you've been in the room with people so much and because you continue to be.
yeah, probably just knowing, kind of like, oh, okay, this is probably what they're
Yeah.
thinking. This kind of vibe or this kind of sound, and just being able to, you know, tune your drums and get good sounds and stuff. Knowing what a good drum sound is supposed to be is helpful
Yeah.
when you're doing that. So,
Yeah.
uh, and knowing where the mics are supposed to go
Hmm.
or where it kind of looks like they should go, and
Uh-huh.
and that kind of stuff.
Were you able
Yeah.
to like when you started stuff at home, were you like calling certain engineer friends or having a,
Yeah, I had actually Ryan Hewitt.
oh,
Uh,
great.
he came over and he kind of like set my little Apollo presets and stuff, and he gave me a bunch of baffles and stuff for in my room.
Amazing.
And I think maybe I played him a couple of things, and he was like, "Oh, you need some treatment on the ceiling or whatever." So I just hung up a packing blanket or whatever. And yeah, he definitely had some pointers for me, but um, yeah. So, but that was it. Just Ryan.
Wow.
He was the
Well,
only one.
pretty good
I mean,
person.
and then I kind of asked.
Just
I asked
Ryan.
if, yeah, just Ryan. I asked a few other people, along the way, like, do I really need, a bottom snare mic, or do I need this? And so I had to get a couple extra channels and that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
because I only had the Apollo 8P for a long time, and then I ended up getting the little SSL 2 channel 2 to add to that.
Okay. So that's what you do? You do 10?
Yep, that's it.
Cool.
Yeah, nice and simple.
Does it stay the same, basically?
Pretty much, yeah. And I have a bunch of good mics. I have our front of house guy with Sheryl has a deal with SE Electronics, and um, he just hooked me up with like a nice set of mics, and like he got me these Rupert Neve, those overheads, and that are all like powered and whatever. I don't know anything about it, but they
Yeah.
sound killer.
Uh-huh.
They sound really good. And then I have a friend, another guy who was our monitor engineer and front of house guy for a while, Matt Stager, who makes these great Stager microphones,
Oh, yeah.
ribbon mics.
Hmm.
So I just have one of those that I put like kind of over the kick, and yeah, 10 channels. So, and the bottom mic is important for people apparently. They like the bottom snare mic and
Bottom
they like
snare
a
mic.
high.
Yeah, I think it serves a good purpose. Yeah.
It does, yeah. And a hi-hat mic.
Yeah.
Some people are like, no, fuck the hi-hat. You don't need a hi-hat mic. I like having a hi-hat mic, actually.
It depends on how you play a lot,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But I think when I don't have the hi-hat mic on, I hear that it's missing. I'm like, I love that, having that, all of it,
Mhm.
that picture.
But you're not really concerned with like moving stuff around like that.
I don't get all experimental and stuff. People don't tend to really want it to be super. They want just good sounding things. You know what I mean? And I keep it real basic. I don't put any kind of effects or any plugins or any of that stuff. And my room sound, I mean, my room is very small. So my room sound is the Ocean Way room sound. You know, the Ocean Way thing. I copy my overheads
Mhm.
and do the Ocean Way sound, and it sounds awesome. People are always like, "Your room sounds amazing." I'm like, "Yeah,
I know.
yeah." Well, it's the Ocean Way, so it's not good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that works, you know.
Do you think that that's mainly because you're doing country records? I'm assuming right now. Or like stylistically it's the same thing mainly, or you tell me.
It's all, yeah. I mean, it's all. I think more. I do a lot of like sort of Americana type stuff. I mean, I do play on a bunch of country things,
Mhm.
but not like a ton of it. Like some do, like Jerry's, plays on a lot of the huge records and stuff.
Mhm.
But I'll do like a handful of modern country records every year. But I'm kind of more in the Americana zone, singer songwriter world.
Mhm.
Uh, so I don't know what I mean, like I did like Sturgill Simpson. I don't know if he's considered. I don't know what that. I mean, it's like country.
Mhm.
This record was super kind of country,
Mhm.
but I guess maybe that's Americana. I don't know.
Whatever.
they People just call it whatever they want,
Yeah.
and
But you didn't do that at home.
but I didn't do that at home. No,
Okay.
that was full. That was in the studio. That was actually a really cool experience with Sturgill because we did it just in one room. Everybody, there was just me, bass player, and a piano player, and Sturgill.
Mhm.
And for a bunch of songs, we didn't even use headphones,
Oh, wow.
which was kind of wild. He had a little amp in front of him, so he could like hear himself, when he was singing his vocal. And I couldn't really hear him that well, which is hard for me because I really am always focused on the vocal.
Uh-huh.
And so that got a little tricky. We eventually switched over to headphones and stuff, but um, it was cool to kind of do it that way because you had to play real light, and real sensitive and kind of just be able to hear what everybody's doing in the room.
Did any of
That's
those
fun.
tracks last where there were no headphones?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Hmm.
Oh, cool. So no, obviously no click either.
No click. No, no click on that whole record.
So how did you approach it? Like just like, energy wise,
I
whatever, with like where you can barely hear him. You know what I mean? Like dynamically.
I know it's tricky. It was hard. You just kind of have to picture it in your mind and do it and go like, I think this is what it's going to end up, the
Uh-huh.
velocity I need to be playing, and you know, just kind of going with it. I don't know, and then listening
Mhm.
back and going like, oh, okay, I need to hit a little bit harder, I think, or lighter.
Or trust.
Yeah,
So were you guys pre-rehearsed already, or was it like a regular session where you're just learning the songs right there?
learning right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the listening back was super important to like be able to get the context of.
totally. Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
sounds fun.
It is. It is really. Yeah, it was really fun. And that producer, this guy Fergie, Dave Ferguson, he's a great producer and great engineer. So we always can trust his. He'll tell you right away if it's not working,
Hmm.
and he's good that way. And he doesn't like to do a lot of takes either. So we'll do like 2 or 3 takes. I would have my metronome there just to kind of make sure I was in the same zone
Hmm.
and look at it. But you know, yeah, you just have to put trust in Ferg's ears.
Hmm. Could you hear the other instruments in the room well, or was it what were you focusing on mainly? I mean,
on
right?
on on Sturgill. Yeah, just him singing
Yeah.
and his guitar.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Do you
Cool
know
though.
why they decided to go that route?
I think they were just trying to do something different,
Yeah.
or have it be just have that fresh kind of live feel, you know, an off the cuff kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
Because not even like some of the, I don't know, all the lyrics weren't even written, So he was just kind of like coming up with things on the fly there while it was going down. And yeah, all worked out.
Wow. Is that the only time you've done that? Like recently, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, recently. I mean, I've done things, yeah, in the past where they try and do stuff like that. But that was the most felt I think the most successful attempt at that kind of thing.
Mhm.
We did eventually have to kind of go to headphones for some more things that were a little more rocking,
Yeah.
you know. Um, but that was cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
And I
listening.
went. I was in a different. I was in a booth for that. So
Oh, okay. You switched the whole thing up. They switched the
yeah.
whole thing. Okay.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Cymbal bleed. Right.
Yeah.
All that.
Yeah. That would be. Although with like on Ben Queller record, we did way back at Sear Sound in New York, his second solo record on my way.
Hmm.
We did that him singing live in the room on the tracking floor.
Hmm.
It was Ethan Johns producing, and Ben was just singing like right in front of us. It's pretty awesome.
Does he
So
have
that
like?
had
Do both those guys have like pipes, like dynamic?
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
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 That
So
would. Okay.
just gets a live thing going.
Yeah. That would definitely be important for to be able to pull that off.
Yeah. 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 But I don't know. Maybe that was more. I feel like that was more common back in the days of old recording, live. They were just in the same room playing,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Well, that was that was the way at one point, right? All
Yeah.
Motown records, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many Cheryl records have you done now? I was listening to her latest one the other day.
Yeah, that one's pretty cool. I've played on maybe like three, I guess. Three. Yeah, I think three. Um, Be Myself and then what was the one she did it was like more collaborative with a bunch of different artists. And then
Uh,
that
Threads? Is that one?
Threads, yes, Threads.
Okay.
And that
Did
one was cool because Steve
Jordan produce
Jordan,
it? Yeah.
yeah, he produced that.
What was that like?
Uh, that was awesome. It was so fun to get to work with him. I was I had done one other song with him before that with her, so I kind of knew, what the vibe was going to be. But I love him. He's obviously legend and everything, and just like one of the best ever. But he's super cool and made me feel comfortable and just a great hang. And
Hmm.
yeah, it was awesome. Uh, and yeah, it was really fun. I mean, he did not need me there. I was not. It was not necessary.
Hmm.
So it was very cool of them to have me.
Did he give you much direction?
Not really.
He kind of let you do you.
Yeah, he just kind of was like, yeah, just play the song,
Yeah.
let's do it. The first thing I ever did with them was a Bill Withers cover, and that song, he was just playing congas. He was kind of the metronome for the thing, and the only direction he gave was don't play the four e and of of the beat in the groove. Just don't hit that on the kick or whatever.
Hmm.
With those, it was like a Gadsden 16th note groove, but I wasn't playing it that way, and so he was like, "Don't hit that the 4e and with the snare or anything." Like
Hmm.
That was it. That was the only direction.
That was his. That was a conga spot.
I guess so. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was filled with conga, or or guitar rhythm or something.
Right.
Yeah.
So there was thought about like space, like instrumentation parts.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. He's just thinking about the whole overall thing.
Yeah. Did he do any interesting mic things with recording you?
Not really. No. No, it was pretty simple. Cheryl's. It was at Cheryl's place, and nothing too crazy. I did do on her "Be Myself" record. Chad Blake was engineered that. That was pretty killer. That was really a treat to get to
Oh,
work
I
with him.
remember that. Jeff was involved in that too, right? Trot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
try. Yeah,
I remember I was talking to Jeff a whole bunch during that time. Tell me about Chad Blake.
Chad is like such a cool, interesting guy. He was he's really into photography, so he was photographing the whole time and was just kind of trying to let just things happen. He's always going to get great sounds. Like he, his setup was like really simple. Um, I mean, he had one of those giant, I don't know that big black. Is it a U-47? I can't remember the name of the mic. It's a huge stereo
Oh,
ribbon
oh, the
mic.
Cascade, the long thing.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
One of those and just a couple, kick, snare, and made a couple tom. I don't know. It was just simple,
Yeah.
just normal, normal
Were you in
stuff.
like a vocal booth, like a small?
Her drum room is pretty small. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Uh, it's about the same size as my drum room. Maybe her ceiling might be a little bit higher,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, really, really cool. I mean, he puts all the little sans amps on everything and does his he's all in works all in the box. He uses plugins on and all kinds of crazy shit. So
Were you tracking with some of those sounds, like knowing what they were going to be?
yes, he was like, I'm gonna give you my mix so you know what it sounds like.
Okay. Did that affect
Which
how you played or approached?
probably, yeah, probably, yeah, I would think so. I mean, I love that when the engineer when I'm getting their mix.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes I prefer like a two mix and just that instead of all this all the separate tracks, depending on what it is. But
Hmm.
uh yeah, it was cool. He was super sweet and we keep in touch and stuff. That was the only thing I've ever done with him.
Hmm.
So I'll email him every once in a while just to say hey. Or if there's a record that comes out that he's mixed, just
Yeah.
be like, hey, I love this.
So from what you remember, did the final product, was it pretty close to what you tracked? I know that's a hard thing to remember, but
Yeah, and it wasn't like we weren't going for there was no like super crazy kind of edgy things on that record.
mhm.
Um so it sounded pretty much the way it did in the tracking session,
Hmm.
but just you could hear his you could hear his influence on it. He just has the sound. It's
Yeah.
really unique and just fuzzy warmth. you
Yeah,
know
that's really cool. Were they do you remember? Oh, not that. Was it a lot of these?
Yes. Hmm.
I got to get this fixed. I've been meaning to get this fixed for like a couple years.
Yeah, he had a few of them though. It was like I
Yeah.
don't know what he had them on. It was on a bunch of stuff though.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I got to get it fixed.
Yes.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's cool. Do you are you mixing like when you do stuff at home? Are you doing much mixing or are you
no.
sending out flat?
Yep. I sent it out. I mean, I put a little bit of compression on things. very little, and that's it. I keep it super simple because people like to mess with things on their own, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people come back and be like, "Man, I only use that stereo or that mono ribbon and your overheads, or whatever."
Yeah.
And that the mono ribbon gets a good crunchy sound, kind of, and it also it's like all the low end for my kit, basically. It's tons of low end on this ribbon,
Oh yeah.
and what's this guy right here? I don't know if you can see that.
Ooh, yes. I was just looking at your Instagram, and it was like in the crotch area, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Right over the kick, kind of pointed at an angle, kind of towards the snare.
Yeah. And that's where that thing lives.
That's where it lives. That's this. That's this shit. Sometimes, sometimes I have to raise up the ride over it a little bit if it's getting too much ride stuff. But for the most part, even if I just like tilt it down a little bit, it takes that away.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
um, yeah, it's nice and simple. Got to keep it simple. People like that.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
It's getting nerdy here. I like it.
Yes.
Um, I always thought it was interesting that you actually didn't record more in LA, though. You know what I mean? Um,
It just was, yeah. I guess it just wasn't in the cards for me there. I don't know. It wasn't. I mean, it just wasn't happening. I mean, the wallflower stuff.
who produced that one record? I think you already said.
Brendan O'Brien,
Oh, that's right.
and yeah, I just never got asked to do sessions in
That's weird to me.
LA.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Evan would call me for a couple little things here and there,
Yeah.
and but no, it wasn't. That wasn't. Charlton Pettis was the guy who would call me for things, and he lived right around the corner from me, and that worked out great because that Tears for Fears record I got to play on I love that. It's a great
Yeah.
record, great
Actually,
songs, and those guys are awesome.
which one is that?
It's called Everybody Loves a Happy Ending.
Okay. You didn't tour though, did you?
No, they asked me to, and it was right when I got the Wallflowers gig, so I couldn't do it. It took a minute for that record to come out because we started working. We were actually the first thing I did was like Kurt's. We did a solo record on Kurt, and then during that time, he and Roland, they had not been working together for a few years, but they kind of mended their friendship, and Roland started coming to town to write with him and stuff. So I would just kind of play on their demos in Charlton's garage there. And then that's what turned into the record. And at the end of it, they were like, okay, well, we're going to go in to Sound City for a week and just do the drums there with Neil Dorfsman engineering. I was like, okay, fuck yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. We had a lot of fun. We drank a lot of wine and made a killer record. And then the record barely came out because Arista, they were on Arista, and I guess L.A. Reid had like signed them, and he got fired during that time. I guess he got fired right before it came out or something.
Oh wow.
And he was their guy, and it kind of screwed everything up for a while on that record. So, but it's kind of I think it's like a fan favorite now because of that, it's sort of like this mystique around it. And it wasn't on streaming platforms for a long time.
Oh.
It took a while for it to get even onto streaming, and yeah, one of those classic deals.
Yeah.
Where everything falls apart.
Yeah, I gotta go check that one out. I mean, yeah.
You would love it. It's the songs are amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Really. And Roland plays drums on it too. He's a good drummer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Hmm.
Did he do all the programming way back in the day? Do you know that?
I don't know. I don't know for sure. I didn't talk to him about that.
Okay.
But they did say that Phil Collins was their favorite to record with. I mean, they've had a bunch of different great
Yeah.
drummers on their records.
Yeah.
Um, but they said having like taken their stuff to Phil's studio and having him play. He played on
Women in Chains.
Woman in Chains, yeah, where he comes in with that.
Yeah.
It's like half him and half I think Manu starts it and
Yeah.
then he comes
Yeah.
in.
Which is crazy. I only learned that in like the last year or two, and I was like, wait, what? Yeah. And it's
Yeah,
obvious. You're like, oh
I
yeah.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, that's
Uh-huh.
Phil Collins.
Uh-huh.
I know, pretty sick. But yeah, they said that experience was really cool because they just went to his thing where it's already all set up and
Okay.
you know,
It sounds like Phil.
then you're like, oh my god, yeah, there he is.
Fuck yeah, and his pocket. I wonder. Yeah, and I think he's on a few tunes on that record, but he's not on the whole thing.
No, he's on the whole thing. It's mostly Manu.
Yeah.
I think maybe did Simon Phillips play the song in there too? I can't remember.
Yeah, maybe. I know McLeod did some recording with him, and
Hmm.
Jamie did this last record. Are you friends with Jamie Wallace?
Yeah. Uh huh. Yeah. We finally just met the last time they came through here.
Hmm.
Uh, we went out and saw him and hung out. He sounds incredible with them, man. That's a hard gig. I was like, I don't know if I could actually play that gig. It's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit you got to do. That's a
Yeah.
really heavy drumming gig.
And you got to
Like,
kind of play those parts because they're kind of part of the song.
yes, there's like
Like break it down.
hooks.
Like that's like that part is part of the song, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So many, all, yeah. I mean, sowing the seeds and all that shit. It's like you
Exactly.
have to hit every,
Yeah.
every Ringo-y fill
Right.
and, and just, yeah. But yeah, Jamie did it, man. He's so good.
Yeah.
And it sounded great. They made a live album. Actually, the show they did here, they filmed it and recorded it here.
Yeah, I
And
just listened to
that's
it, right? Because it
yeah.
came out just like not that like a few months ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah, we
I
were.
texted him and I was like, dude.
Yeah, he's so good.
Yeah.
And he plays those A and F
Yeah.
drums. Those sound good.
Yeah. Did you have a setup at in LA? Like a home setup? Ever?
No, we were in apartments. We were in little 2 bedroom apartments and or even smaller. And I had I had like a little Roland electronic kit that I would practice on.
How was that?
To try and say it was terrible. I mean, it was. I mean, not the Roland kit. Sorry, Roland. Kit,
They're not listening.
whatever. Roland, I know they're. Yeah, no, those there. It was perfect for what I was, needed to like practice, but not the same as playing.
Yeah.
And eventually, I started just going to that. There was like a little rehearsal space out in the valley. I can't remember the name of it. That I would just go and rent and practice there because having the babies in a room with an electronic drum kit with like 50 cables was like not the safest thing. Like, okay, this is not going to work. I'm not yeah.
Oh, amazing. Wow.
But yeah, it was a different thing for me in LA. I mean, we loved living there. We had our kids there. And Melissa, my wife's from there. She's from Thousand Oaks. And
Okay.
but we met in Boston in 1994. We've
Hmm.
been together a long time, but yeah, LA just wasn't the right fit for me
Yeah.
to live in.
Yeah. I mean, it's yeah.
I never thought I would be a country in the country world. You know, I never kind of like imagined that for myself. But um, we love it here. It's awesome. The
I mean,
scene is incredible.
yeah. To me, obviously, stylistically, with what you do, it makes perfect sense. You know.
Yeah, yeah, kind of, kind of good match.
Yeah.
And then having getting the landing the Cheryl Crow gig was like the greatest thing. Uh, I mean, I used to practice along to her records, you know, because all that drumming is so good.
Yep.
And
Yeah. McLeod
I
is
just,
those early records, those first two records. Oof. And
yeah,
Kevin Gilbert's playing on those too, man.
yeah, yeah. Everyone, and uh, I think Pete Thomas plays on a few songs, and like Jim Bogus
Oh
plays on
yeah,
a couple
Bogus.
songs.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, Jim is killing.
yeah.
How did that come about? How did the Cheryl thing happen?
I was playing with well, I met Peter Stroud, her band leader. I probably met him when I was playing with the Chicks. I think he came out to a show in Atlanta
Hmm.
because he had an amp company. And yeah, I think I met him there, and then we kept in touch. I was playing with when I was playing with Katie Lang. He came out and saw us in Atlanta, and then I think when I was he wanted to put together this band. It was me and Audley Freed and Robert Kearns, and the three of us are in Cheryl's band now. Uh, and the singer Keith Gaddis that Audley and I and Robert had been playing with over the years. Great singer songwriter. He and this keyboard player Ike Stubblefield, and it was Peter just wanted to put together this band,
Okay.
and he and Audley and Keith wrote some songs, and we went to Atlanta, recorded a little EP, and he named the band Big Hat, and we put out this little EP. We never played any shows or anything,
Oh, really?
and we never played a single show. But he put the EP out, and then I think there was like there was a corporate gig. Cheryl's band, she had done that soul kind of record.
Yeah.
Um,
Victor and those guys.
yeah, Victor, yeah, all those cats, and that had kind of come to an end. And the guys who had been in her band prior, like Tim Smith and Jeremy Stacy, were off playing with Noel Gallagher.
Mhm.
And so she was like, shit, I don't have a band. I have this gig that just came up, like a corporate gig in New Orleans. She was like, I need a band. Can you help me find some people? So he was like, well, I have this little side project with these dudes. Do you want to have them come and play and try it out? And she was like, yeah, sure. So we went and rehearsed, and that was it. We played the one gig, and she was like, okay, this is cool. I thought I like this band, and let's keep it going. And then later, um, and my buddy Josh Grange
Oh yeah,
was,
I know Josh.
yeah, he later joined. He had been in the Chicks band too with
Yep.
us, and so he joined. And then Audley's wife, Jen Gunderman, great keyboard player.
Hmm.
Um, Sheryl asked her to be in the band too, so that's been the band for the past 13 years.
You just mentioned Katie Lang. I just remembered that's you on that record from like 2015, maybe.
It was 2011, 2010, 2011. Yeah, Sing It Loud is the record.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it in iTunes, which is weird because
I think they
I listened
I
to that.
think they put it under Katie Lang and the Sis Boom Bang. Yeah, I don't know if it's
Okay. Okay. That's a really good record.
Yeah, it is. I know. I love that record.
Josh is
My
on that
buddy.
too, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Because Josh had toured with her,
Mhm.
and the keyboard player Daniel Clark. They had been in her band for a few years, and so the guy who was producing it, Joe Pisapia, who lives here, is a great producer and guitarist, and he had a couple different drummers coming in, and I think maybe one of them couldn't make it that one day, and they were like, "Well, let's have Fred come in and see how that goes." And we ended up doing like 7 songs in 2 days, and I think at the end of that second day, she was like, "Do you want to come on the road with me?
Oh wow.
This should be a band. We should do this, like put this record out as a band and go tour." I was like, "Yes, I want to do that."
Wow.
And that's when I left the Wallflowers, actually, during that time,
Okay.
because I was playing with Katie in Australia, and the Wallflowers had been on a long break, and they called and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna come. I was talking to Jay Joyce, and we're gonna go to Nashville and make this record there." And I was like, I think I'm good. I don't, like I'm ready to kind of move on,
Hmm.
do something different. I'm really happy with what I'm doing now.
Hmm.
But so the Katie gig, yeah, I did that for like 2 years, and then the Sheryl thing popped up, and Katie's work schedule was, it was like she'll make a record and then tour on that record kind of deal,
Hmm.
and have a lot of space in between while she's trying to come up with songs, and she'll do like little private gigs with just her and piano and that kind of thing. And I knew that Cheryl's workload was a lot. She works really consistently. Like we've never taken a year off. So
It's amazing.
yeah, we play gigs like pretty much every month, at least 1 or 2 shows,
Hmm.
and so that's really nice and helpful. She loves to work, and she's always in the mix, and keeping everybody busy, and
Yeah.
it's good.
I missed you by a day in Milwaukee, like a summer or two ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, at the Summerfest thing
Yeah.
or something?
Yeah.
Uh,
I think you were there. I think you were there the night before.
yeah,
And then
that's always a fun gig. I love the Summerfest.
yeah.
It's always fun.
And then I think James Taylor was coming the night before, so it was like you,
Mm.
and then I played, and then Gad was there the next night, and I was like, God, here right in the
Oh,
middle.
James, we played. No, we played that same night
Oh, was
with
it the same
James.
night? Oh, maybe
Yeah.
that's what it was. Right. I
Yep.
was like, ah.
Yes, that was the shit actually, because we had played with we've played a few shows with James before,
Hmm.
and I've talked
That's
to
right.
Gad, and
That's what it was. You guys,
yes,
yeah.
and I've talked to Steve Gadd a couple, during those gigs, but this time was like he was so sweet, and like he asked me to come sit with him at in catering that night and sit and have dinner with him and stuff. So it was really awesome. He was so sweet.
That's great.
And
Wow.
just to be able to see him play is like, man, it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah.
That whole band with James Taylor is like ridiculous.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. I know. I mean, Landau and Lee Sklar together, or is it Jimmy Johnson or Sklar?
Jimmy Johnson was out there.
Okay.
Sklar, I met, he was out. We opened for Phil Collins in 2019. We went to Europe and opened for Phil
What?
in these huge stadiums in
Yeah.
Europe. And Nick, his son, was playing drums, but Lee was playing bass, and that was sick. It was great. I mean, Phil was in bad shape,
Yeah. I
He's
saw
not.
that. I think I saw that tour.
Yeah.
I was just, yeah, I remember going and just being like, please, I didn't know Nick's playing. I was just like, please have a good feel, because otherwise,
Yeah. I know. I
Phil
was.
with the whole thing, and he killed
I
it.
know. Yeah, he's so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
And I think he was maybe 19 at that point or
Yes,
something.
exactly. Maybe
And
even
I was like,
younger. Yeah.
yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, holy shit.
That was
This
I
kid's
was just like, oh, he's so young. I don't know, man. And then it was
yeah.
fucking awesome. So I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
That was really fun. That was a great tour. Uh
How long was that?
uh I can't remember exactly. It was probably I think it was like 8 shows or something like that.
What an interesting bill.
So weird, I know.
Right?
Cheryl Crow and Phil Collins.
Yeah.
Yes. Really, really strange.
Did you talk to
Bill,
Phil
but
at all?
no, he was not spending time around the venue at all. He would kind of show up like 10 minutes before, and then he would ride on a golf cart up to the stage, and he was walking with a cane and everything, and then he'd walk out and get in the chair there, and yeah, one time I was sitting side stage and he was walking on stage. I was just sitting there by myself, like on a case, and we met eyes and he waved at me. So I was like, cool, that's
Yeah.
all I need. That's great.
Yep.
We locked eyes and exchanged a smile. That was a nice moment for me.
Hell
I
yeah.
was such a huge Phil Collins fan. I mean, like I would have concerts in my bedroom when I was little. And in my mind, I was Phil Collins. So
Dude, I have a replica kit.
you do?
Yeah.
Nice.
EW made me one. It's amazing.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. I've only set it up full like 2 or 3 times, because it's a commitment,
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot. That's a
Yeah.
lot.
But so I'll do it like, sometimes I'll do it like during the holidays when things are really slow and I know I'm not going to
Yeah,
tear it down for like I need a
I
Ludwig
love
kit
that.
set up. I'm like just just do that for a few days.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Well, man,
Sometimes I think about setting up like a huge kit again. Well, I like, when you had a like double bass drum kit when you're like a teenager and all that stuff.
the two toms up top for me is like a big. It's really fun.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Play totally differently.
You do. I know. I did that over the past couple of years. I would have it. I would change it up live
Yeah.
and bring a tom in or out, and it would make me do different fills
Yeah.
and do all kinds of different shit. And I was like, wow, this is good to do this.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to do that this summer when I go out, just because it's also a very different thing than two floor toms, a rack and two floor.
Mm-hmm.
That's a different thing too. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
just make your brain work a different way.
I know. And I had mine on a. It was sort of a wonky setup because I would put it on a snare stand on the right hand
Oh,
side too.
oh,
So
oh,
it was
yeah.
like, so it had a weird look to it,
Uh-huh.
and it was you kind of had to reach for it to hit it,
Uh,
and uh, but it was fun to make you pull you out of your regular kind of
yeah,
routine or whatever,
yeah.
make your push you to do a couple different fills here and there.
Mm-hmm.
you know that can be hard getting, you feel like, oh, I'm so sick of doing the same. Why do I keep doing the same
Hmm.
fills in the same spots? And
Are you guys able to kind of like with Cheryl kind of open up a little, like in a
not
certain?
a ton, a couple songs. There are a couple songs where we can, yeah,
Yeah,
where we'll jam it out a little bit.
yeah.
But again, it's like those songs, there's
Or like I
parts
guess what
that
I
are
mean
so
is like
good.
develop, not necessarily not jam, but like
Yeah.
the songs
Well,
develop.
there are a couple songs where we can jam,
Yeah.
like, you know, where she'll extend the solos and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
But not a ton, they're still just kind of, they're pop songs,
Hmm. Yeah.
and they have their thing and their signature parts
Yeah.
and feels and stuff like that.
A lot
So
of songs, man. She's got a lot of songs at this point. Oof.
I know, and I never get sick of playing them
Yeah.
ever. It's been the best. It's been the best gig. It really has. So incredibly thankful because I know what's out there. I think about like what else would I do if Sheryl stopped? What would I be doing? And I know I'd be playing sessions,
Yeah.
but I love playing live still, and I like touring still. And her schedule is perfect. Everything about it is just like it's a really good thing, and so I hope it never ends.
I hope that for you too. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's definitely, yeah. 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 She's pretty rad. So that's good.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right, Fred. Thanks you for your time, man.
Oh yeah, of course.
Really good
Thanks
to
for having me.
talk, even though we're not catching up personally. It's really good to see you,
I
man.
know it's been way too long,
Yeah.
and thank you for that tour all those years ago.
I mean, thank you for teaching me what to do on a record when
Oh
when
no,
it's
God,
important. I'm
oh,
serious, man. That I'm telling you, I've told that story so many times.
that's so funny.
It's really true. I've remembered listening to that record. It was weird. It was a weird thing where like my heart sank a little because I was like, oh. But I learned from it. You know what I mean?
Oh yes, I've
Like,
had that. I've had that experience
yeah.
many times.
But it made such a big impression of like, oh, well, that's the way to go about it. It doesn't matter what it sounds like with just an acoustic guitar. I mean, it does, but you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, you know, it wasn't
Yeah.
for me. It was about, oh, like, playing harder or maybe bashing a little more or whatever. You know what I mean? And it was
Hmm.
like, I don't have to bring that. It's gonna come with
Hmm. Yes,
in the production.
I know.
So yeah,
Yeah. Well, we were just young little lads.
yeah,
That was a long time ago. So
it was a happy, yeah, it was
we're always learning.
a lifetime ago for sure. Yeah,
Always learning.
yeah. Right
All
on,
right,
dude.
Blair. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
And I'll talk to you soon.
All right, Fred. Take it easy.
Okay. See you, buddy.